So, hello, this is Kimmy the Sparks, and today I am going to be discussing aphantasia and what is SDAM, and how it affects me as an electrician. So, I'm gonna start with aphantasia first. So, aphantasia is the inability to recall images in your mind, and that is basically on one end of the spectrum of imagination. So aphantasia means lack of imagination, and then on the opposite end you have hyperphantasia, meaning that you have a super vivid and clear imagination. So me personally, I happen to be on the end where I am pretty much like 99%, an aphantasiac, meaning that I cannot recall images in my mind. So the best example that I can give is when you close your eyes, a lot of people are able to visualize their loved ones, like, their mom or their child or their partner or their best friend who they see often. So, they're able to close their eyes and sort of see like a rough image of what this person looks like. I'm unable to do that. So even if I've just seen you and you've left the house 2 minutes ago, I cannot close my eyes and see your face, ever. My son's face, never. Any partner's face I've ever been with, or my mum's face, my grandma's face, anybody's face, any friend's face, I am not able to just close my eyes and see them. So yeah, when I first found out that other people can see images in their mind and they can apparently close their eyes and visualize my face, when I first found out, I cried a lot, because I found that very scary. I thought, wait a minute, so you're telling me if I spend a day with you and I go home, you can still close your eyes and see my face? Wow, that was a big shock for me. I couldn't believe it. And then I spoke to my mom about it, and she goes to me like, wait, you can't see things when you close your eyes? You can't see people's faces? Nothing? And I was like, no, can you? She's like, yeah, of course I can. And then I was like, wait a minute. No way. I genuinely couldn't believe it. So I asked my friend, I asked another friend, and everybody I asked, all my friends, all of them apparently could see with their eyes closed. They could visualize an apple, they could visualize a beach, a tree, they could remember the last date that they went on with a partner, which was literally 2 days ago. And I was like, wait a minute, what? This is crazy. And it made so much sense on why people, say close your eyes and visualize this and visualize that. For me personally, I always thought they meant like I can visualize, but it's more through knowing rather than seeing. So when I close my eyes, I know what my son's face looks like, his little chubby cheeks. He's got like long eyelashes and just beautiful smile and just cute little dimple. But when I close my eyes, it literally comes like a list of bullet points of what he looks like. It's not anything visual. This is very recent, been discovered very recently. Obviously memory and ability to recall images is on a spectrum, meaning that you might not be one or the other, you might be somewhere in between, like a little sliding scale. So yeah, if you're watching this, let me know in the comments, or message me, let me know if you have aphantasia, maybe even hyperphantasia, meaning you've got a great ability to create things in your mind. Close your eyes, visualize a red square, and then choose from one of these numbers which one it is that you see. So aphantasia is literally 0, you see nothing, and then along the sliding scale, and then you've got the red square, number 6, where you can fully visualize it and actually see color when you close your eyes. So they're estimating that there's about 10% of people in the world who have aphantasia. So yeah, it's not a majority of people, and at first it can be very daunting to find out that other people can see things in their mind. It's crazy. It's crazy. So aphantasia can also affect your other senses. So when you shut your eyes and somebody says, can you imagine the taste of cinnamon, or can you imagine the taste of strawberries or bananas, or whatever thing they say, and apparently most people can sort of feel the taste of something in their mind. I can't do that. It affects that sense as well. Then you also have the audio version where you can recall a sound. So if I said guitar, piano, you'd be able to visualize and hear the sound. I'm not able to do that either. So my taste buds in the mind are blind. My ear in the mind is blind. My eyes in the mind are blind. And you also have the touch sensory perception, where, you know, you sort of close your eyes and you can feel, I don't know, like the fluffiness of a teddy bear, or the, you know, how soft your dog is, or the texture and stuff, you know, when you're stroking it. You can recall that into your mind and experience it. Apparently most people can do that. I can't do that either. Smell as well, like perfumes. Apparently my mum, she can think of her perfume and she can smell it in her mind, which is crazy. I can't. So yeah, I happen to have literally aphantasia on the scale where it's all the way back, and it affects every single one of my senses. So yeah, crazy, crazy, crazy. Okay, so the next thing I wanted to explain was SDAM. I refer to it as SDAM in my mind because it's easier to say and it flows better. So SDAM stands for Severely Deficient Autobiographical Memory. So you've got your autobiographical memory. Autobiography is like the first person perspective. So autobiographical memory is the ability to recall memories and past events from like a first person perspective. And obviously severely deficient means inability to do so to an extreme scale. And that is on one end of the spectrum. Again, memory is also a sliding scale. It's not one or the other. So what happens on the other scale is you have the highly superior autobiographical memory. So HSAM. So yeah, with this, I happen to be on all the way on the other scale, the SDAM side of it. And there is a big correlation between people who have aphantasia and SDAM. So SDAM is a lifelong inability to recall events from first person perspective and to be able to recall them vividly. So that basically means it's not dementia. It's not some sort of trauma or stress coping mechanism. It's not amnesia. It's literally a healthy individual who just doesn't seem to have the ability to have autobiographical memory to a good extent, I guess. So it's basically inability to mentally travel. So, you know, if I said think back to yesterday when you, I don't know, when you went here and there, what happened? Most people can say, oh yeah, I remember this, that, and they might be able to remember, you know, if I asked what colour was the door, or what was you wearing, maybe they might be able to remember that. But for, let's say, myself, I struggle because anything that happened in the past is literally just gone, in a sense where I remember it, but only the factual information that my brain has taken a note of. So that basically means any memory that I've had yesterday or last week or 3 years ago or 7 years ago all feel the same to me. So whether, obviously, in terms of me and my relationships and friendships with people, that means if I've seen you last week, if I've seen you 2 years ago, when I see you again, it will feel like there was never a gap. So yeah, sometimes we can feel like that with people, but with this, it basically affects it all the time since as far as you can ever remember, and it's not a one-off or two-off. It's just constantly forever. That's how you've been, and that's how apparently you'll always be, because there's not like a therapy or anything that you can currently go through to help with this disorder. So yeah, it's also like the inability to go back to an event and be able to feel yourself there, or have any memories that, you know, when you think about the memory, you can't then go in there and sort of pick bits that, you know, you can recall back into your mind, if that makes any sense. So for me, when I think of anything that's happened in the past, whether it's a week ago or a year ago, I can't think back to it and see it and be like, oh yeah, I remember that. It's sort of like a list, and everything is on the list. So it's not like I can just go to the list and see what kind of dress was somebody wearing. If I factually remember it was a white dress, that is all I will ever remember. I will never be able to go back in there and remember a texture or a detail or design or anything like that. So like my friend, you know, if I ask her, what was you wearing like last month, that party, she'll be able to say, oh yeah, I was wearing this, and you know, the skirt was like pleated, and she can like close her eyes and visualize how it went a month ago, and she could just go back in time in her mind and pick out the details. So yeah, I can't do that. So unless I've literally taken the time out there and then to make a mental note, it's gone forever. Basically, living in third person and in the moment. It's basically like my whole life is like I'm forced to live in the moment. So a lot of people, you know, they say like I'm spiritual, and you know, like, how do you live in the moment so much and you have no fear, and you know, you're just so happy and positive all the time. Unfortunately, I guess, unfortunately, or should I say fortunately, I was basically born with the inability to live in the past or in the future. So it's got its positives and its negatives. I can't go back and worry about something that happened in my past. I can't recall a memory and relive the emotion. So any traumatic experience I've ever had, I can't go back and feel what I felt at the time. So again, this has its positives and its negatives. So I can't go back in time and relive the emotions. This is also a coping mechanism that people who are just depressed and have PTSD, this is the kind of coping mechanism that they subconsciously have, where their brain just gets rid of certain things. But having SDAM means that it's always forever with good or bad memories, no matter whether you are depressed or not. So that is the main difference. So yeah, so I can't go back into my mind and remember how I felt at the time. I might be able to guess that I was scared or angry or happy, but I will never be able to go back and feel it again. So obviously it's good, because all the scary situations I've ever been in, I never relive the fear. Anytime anybody's hurt me or been an asshole, I don't relive that emotion. I might be able to remember it, and I'll just laugh about it now because I don't remember what emotion I felt. I can assume I was upset or angry, but I'll never feel it again. But then it also works with good emotions. So like when I've had my son, and all the beautiful memories of my son and my friends, or any holidays I've been to, I can't go back and remember how happy I felt being there. So it's got its pros and its cons. And also, you know, that's in regards to living in the past. And in regards to living in the future, I also struggle to daydream. I struggle to make goals, make plans. I struggle to get excited for things that are coming up. So unless it's literally like 20 minutes away and I can start to see the change in scenery, or somebody walks into the room, until that actually happens, I can't really feel excitement. So just before this whole thing hit with the whole world that's going on, I had tickets booked to Bali, and all my friends and my family were like, oh my god, we're so excited for you. And I was like, yeah, me too, but I could not feel it because it was in the future. So for me, it was like I couldn't feel the excitement because it was in the future, and I couldn't visualize why I should be excited. Like, I knew I should be, but I couldn't feel it. And yeah, obviously the trip got cancelled, I got my money back, and yeah, so I never got to feel the excitement about it. And even this, when I went to Wales, it's like, yeah, I'm excited, I know I'm excited, but I don't feel it because it's not happening. So maybe I'm not excited, I just feel like I should be. And I literally won't feel it until I've crossed the border and I start seeing Welsh signs, and I'm like, oh my god, I'm in Wales, and I start screaming, I'm feeling excited. So yeah, so that's that. So basically, I am forced to live in the moment. I cannot live in my past, and I cannot live in the future. Cannot daydream. I can try to daydream, but not like effectively, I'd say, where I can feel it and get excited about things. So you know, when people like plan their wedding and so excited about it, I don't get that. So unless I physically start seeing stuff, I don't get excited for it, unfortunately. But like I said, it forces me to live in a moment, and I've always been like this, and I've never really noticed that other people don't live like that. So, you know, there's been times where I used to get frustrated with my friends and my mom and whoever I'm speaking to. I'm like, why is it so hard for you to let go? You know, if somebody hurt you, just forgive and move on. Like, you know, why, like, are you feeling this and feeling that? Why are you still holding on to your traumas? Why are you still holding on to this? You know, this happened a year ago, and they still sort of relive the memories. They can, like my mom, she said she can still see like the angry face of the person that, you know, that upset her at the time and stuff. And I'm like, wow, that is crazy, because I've never had anything like that before. So like, even that time I got kidnapped by that guy, I just remember the factual information. I don't remember what he looked like, nothing, because I just sort of didn't make a mental note, and I'll never be able to recognize him. And even if I was to see his picture, I don't think I'd be able to recognize him. So again, the lady that was hugging me the other day, the homeless lady, I remember what she looked like just from description, but I cannot conjure the image of what she actually looks like. So I'd probably be able to pick her out of pictures where it was still recent, but there is no way that I could recall information that I didn't note down, which was even like, what was her hair like? I don't really remember. I just remember it was messy. What style? No idea. Was it tied? Was it out? No idea. I cannot just go back and remember it. And this was the other day, and this was quite a traumatic experience, if you know what I'm saying. The thing is, individuals that have aphantasia and SDAM are very highly functional, very normal people, because it's not a condition, it's not a disorder, it is literally just an alternative way to view the world. So yeah, that is basically a long summary, I guess, of what aphantasia and SDAM is. Okay, so that was way longer than I expected, explaining what it is. But anyways, okay. So, having aphantasia and SDAM, I wanted to just put into perspective on how those things affect me as an electrician and as a tradesperson specifically. So for me, I really struggle recalling simple diagrams and simple layouts. So I used to be quite embarrassed admitting this, like two-way line circuit. I know it, I could do it, but there's no way that I can close my eyes and remember what the configuration is. But I know if I was to get on site, pick up a two-way switch, pick up the cable, I will be able to do it. Now, if you asked me, can you draw the diagram, I probably would be able to draw it as I go along, but I am unable to visualize it in my mind before I draw it. So that can be quite frustrating sometimes. But when I get to the job, like I said, I open up the switch, I know exactly what I'm doing. It's fine, it's not a problem. It's just, let's say somebody right now asks me on the spot, oh, can you draw a two-way lighting circuit thing for me? I will be like, poo. No, oh my god, and I would panic and it would give me anxiety. And the other way it also affects me is I cannot visualize cable runs. So when I walk into a room, let's say I'm looking at this side, I'm visualizing the cable run. By the time I turn to that side, that side has gone out of my mind. I'll be looking at this side, visualizing it, and it just doesn't stay in my mind, because I can't close my eyes and visualize the whole thing in one. I cannot do it with my eyes open either. So I have to either do it as I go along, or draw it on a piece of paper while I am there. I also cannot do it from memory. So I'd literally have to rely on being on site to draw the diagram and stuff like that. So the SDAM, the autobiographical memory, is also connected to a timeline. When I have things that I try to remember, my memory, it doesn't really work on a timeline. So like I said, what I did a week ago, a day ago, a year ago, all feels the same to me. So when people ask me, what have you done today? I panic. I'm like, what have I done today? What have I done today? Because what I did this morning feels exactly the same as anything I did a year ago. It's either right there, or it's gone, completely gone. And then I have to rely on looking at pictures to bring stuff back up in my mind that I can then sort of remember. But then again, it will just be factual information. It's not like I can travel back in there with my mind's eye and remember the job. So when my other QS for a company I used to work for, because we used to have to write down how many bedrooms the property is, and he would call me up and say, how many bedrooms was the property? And I'll be like, I know, I literally went there this morning. And I remember I tested all the sockets and everything, but I have to really try hard to remember how many bedrooms it was. And a lot of the time I can't remember. I have to literally put the factual information together. Like, if I remember that one of the wallpapers was interesting, then I'll know that that was just one room, and then another room had something different, and then I'll have to literally spend like 15 minutes trying to piece the information together that I can recall that is in a factual list, to then make the story. So then I could just, from that information, deduct down to how many bedrooms I'm almost certain that is. And like my friend, he can just recall the whole house, and he's like, yeah, I can like visualize the hallway and stuff. And he can just recall a job he did like 3 weeks ago. He'll be like, yeah, I remember that job. Any job you mentioned to him, like, yeah, I remember it. He'll even remember the colour of the door. And that's another thing. So for the job, if it's a no access and the tenant doesn't let us in, they'll always ask, what colour was the door? And I can never remember. I knocked on the door. I looked at the door. I waited for the tenant to open the door. But unless I physically try to remember the colour of the door, it will just be gone forever. Because when I close my eyes, I cannot bring up images. So it's not like I can just bring up the image of the door or of the house. And even if I was able to at least try and remember the door, I can't bring up colours as well. So it's just really hard in that sense. And the inability to recall faces, that's quite a tough one, because with work and colleagues, you know, if somebody says to me, and names as well, I struggle a lot with that. So somebody says, oh, do you know like Brian? And they say Brian, and they're like, oh, he looked like this and this and that, and I'm like, no idea. Or, you know, they'll say he's got this colour hair and this colour this, and he's got like a distinctive tattoo on his arm. And unless I've literally seen it and made a mental note of it, I just can't bring up any images of anybody. So if you said now, think of like the electrician you worked with, let's say last week. So I worked with Dean and Adam, and it's like when I close my eyes, I can't see their faces, but I remember, obviously I can remember factually what Dean and Adam look like. I think they've kind of got like a bit of facial hair going on. And like I can kind of like remember the rough shape of their faces, but like let's say their height, no idea. Are they like that tall? Are they like that small? No idea. I cannot recall that. Or anything, like, yeah, I just can't recall, and I spend a whole day with them. Yeah, the other way this impacts me is my working relationships and friendships. So, you know, I can't sit here and daydream about how much fun I had last week. I can't. It just doesn't work. Or even like yesterday, I might remember that I had fun, but I can't sit here and be like, oh yeah, it was so fun yesterday, and just sit here by myself and just relive the moment. It just doesn't work. So unless I'm regularly seeing somebody and interacting with them, they don't really exist in my reality anymore. So it's quite sad and harsh. But then here's a positive: as soon as you pop up or I bump into you, it's like, oh my god, hi. Time doesn't really exist for me because there's only really now. So if I do see you, it'll be like literally back to where it was. There is no way time can really distance me from anybody. But again, the negative is that most people don't feel that way. So if I was to disappear for a week, my friends will say, like, what happened? Are we not friends anymore? And they get really upset. The benefit of this is, let's say my tools. If I lose a tool, I don't feel away. So any of my tools, my drill, fortunately, I've never ever been robbed. My van has got broken into, but they didn't take anything, which is strange. No idea why they didn't take anything. So I've never really had things stolen, and if I have, it's like immediately I'm like, oh well, it's just gone. It just doesn't really, it's not like I can remember how good it was to have that thing. I might feel like it's inconvenient for me to now have to buy it again. But even that, it's like as soon as I've bought it again, it's like, yeah, just keep it moving. And I can't sit there and sulk over things I've lost. So any tools, any like materials or anything like that, as soon as it's out of my sight, it's just a long gone memory, and it will not bother me anymore whether I ever find it again or not. This is why I have like thousands of pounds worth of materials that is just sitting there because it's just not in my vision, and I just forget about it. And it's like, see ya. And like I said, this is a thing that some people can experience as well, but for me it's just with everything ever. Yeah, if I get robbed, I can't relive the fear again. I cannot relive how much I miss that specific tool or phone or the pictures that are gone from it or whatever has happened. I can't relive the fear. I can't think, oh my god, what if that happens again in the future? Because I can't really think about the future. I can't really feel the future. So yeah, it's got a lot of positives, and this is why I can do the social housing job and be in these crazy situations and I don't really feel fear. So all the times, like, you know, the guy kidnapped me and wouldn't let me out, so okay, yeah, it happened. I probably was scared at the time, but literally no emotion, nothing ever. Like I said, it's quite sad, but it could also be viewed as something positive. So any of the dirty houses I've ever been in, it's like, yeah, it was dirty, probably was unpleasant at the time, don't feel a way about it now. Do I worry that I might be in that kind of position again in the future, or go into a very, very dirty house and be disgusted? No. Like, when it gets there, I'll get there, I'll go in, as soon as I come out, it's just a memory. I'll never experience it ever again. I might be able to remember, recall it, but the emotion, the smell, the scent, the feeling, I cannot relive it. I think it's amazing. I think it's amazing. So yeah, there's a lot of people who obviously think that, you know, that I'm super brave. And I guess I am, but then am I really brave? Or am I just lucky to not be able to feel fear from anything I felt in the past or in the future? So this is why when I was feeling fear the other day, when all these people were like following me and grabbing me and whatever else was happening in the lift and whatnot, in the moment I felt fear and I was like, oh my god, this is amazing. And the thing is, I was so excited because I was able to finally feel fear that it wasn't really feeling fear at all. I was just so excited. I was like, oh my god, this is amazing. Like, I'm actually feeling scared. Like, wow, what a crazy emotion I never really get to feel. And yeah, like I said, I get a lot of people who are concerned for me. who are worried for me. And yeah, I'd like this video to sort of be like a thing where I explain that it's not you being cowardly, it's not me being brave, it's just that I happen to be, I guess, quite lucky and have an inability to feel fear and recall past memories that will bring up fear in the future. So again, if I'm approaching a dangerous estate, I don't have that feeling inside where I'm thinking, oh my god, it's a dangerous estate, what happened before could happen again. I don't get that. So I'm just like, yep, dangerous estate, let's go in, get the job done. Ooh, scary, oh wow, keep it moving. And yeah, so where people obviously try to say, you know, you should be careful, you should be careful, it's like, yeah, I am careful, but I just don't feel the fear, and I'm just gonna probably do it again anyways, because I just don't feel it. And like I said, somebody's got to do these jobs that nobody else wants to do, and it might as well be somebody who's just not scared, right? So I think that's like sort of the main summary of how SDAM and aphantasia affects me as an electrician. And obviously now that I've put this out there, yeah, I'd be very interested to know if any of you guys have either one or the other, or if you've heard of it, or if this is something you've learned about. Let me know. I'd be very, very curious. Thank you so much for watching. And yeah, this is not fully electrical related, so yeah, maybe it'll make us a little bit kinder when we are speaking to people and mocking them for things, because you might realize that, yeah, not everybody sees the world how you see it, the world. Some people see it differently. Some people don't see it at all with their minds closed, with their eyes closed, sorry. And yeah, you know what, let me just quickly add this before I go. When I first came to my mum and I said to her, listen mum, I can't see anything when I close my eyes, she laughed at me. She's like, what do you mean you can't? Nobody can see things when they close their eyes. But she didn't know that I meant it on a very deep level. Like, I genuinely cannot see anything. I close my eyes and it's just black. I try to imagine red or yellow or blue or even a triangle. There's nothing there. There's nothing there. And it's like, wow. The other thing is like tea and chocolate and food. So as soon as I've eaten the chocolate, had a sip of water, there is no way that I can remember what that chocolate tasted like. I can remember that it was good, because I know it was good, but I can never even try to recall the taste. It's mind-blowing. And like I said, I was so shocked to find out that most people can. It was very creepy. Like I said, I cried for ages. But yeah, thanks for watching. Like, subscribe, share, whatever, comment as well. Let me know if you've heard of this, if you've got it, if you don't, if you know somebody that does. Yeah, I'm interested. Thanks, guys.